Good evening and welcome. Round 4 of the Jsra Championship here at the legendary Fuji Speedway in Japan. This stage is set under the watchful eye of Mount Fuji. 4.5 kilometers of tarmac that blends blistering speed and technical precision. Long 1.5 kilometers of straight into turn 1. That hairpin is set to deliver slipstream battles all night long. That's not the only storyline brewing. This is week 4 and the drama continues. Race control has indicated that the weather radar is showing rain moving in for the closing stages of this race. At the final quarter of the session, grip could disappear. It's a 75% chance of rain. It is a morning race as well. It's roughly about 7:20 in Japan. Strategy could definitely be turned on its head. We could be looking at a wet shootout for the checkered flag. It's 2 times fuel. There is no mandatory pit stop. Wow, this could lend to some very interesting racing here at the closing stages of this championship. Lights are ready. The tension is high. We have some returning drivers looking forward to seeing. Mar Escorcia there saw the battles last week and said he has to rejoin. Danny Garcia as well. Missed him last week unfortunately due to a glitch in the LMUC software. Kadeem Mohammed and Mikhail Charles there. Mikhail still hasn't gotten in yet, but should be in sooner than later. Iman Ryan making his debut here in the GT3s in that Aston Martin. Definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do and bring to this evening's racing. We have split qualifying on the way. We will just take a quick look at the standings, the current standings, in a moment's time as the championship is coming closer and closer to a conclusion. So on the right hand side of your screen you should be seeing the point standings. GT Panama there, 2 of the top 3 in Javier Brandao. It's currently sitting on 55 points for the GT3 class. Rowan Harris there sits in P2 with 45. Ramiro Dominguez in P3 with 39 points. Michelle Wallace follows very closely behind. The point standings for Javier Brandao is looking very clean here. And there is one drop race, so we will be taking a tally, so every race counts. Michelle Wallace sits there with 35 points. Cesar Barahona sits in P5 with 30 points. Vincent De Silva in P6 with 26 points. Matthew Titus in P7 with 16 points. Andres Lopez in P8 with 10 points. But he, I think, is not going to continue in the championship. Likely won't be able to make it for the next few rounds. Richard Dyer, good friend over there from the Cayman Islands, sits there in P9 with 8 points, missed last week. Johnny Wilson as well sits in P10. Kyle Barrett there, missed last week, sits in P11 after a disaster in race 1. Was looking like a podium was able to him, but unfortunately for him did not be able to. Well, he lost it through a glitch again in Le Mans Ultimate where he lost the force feedback. Iman Eastman sits in P12, making his debut last week in the GT3s. Sits there with 6 points. Mornay Deploy missed last week as well. Sits in P13. Ricardo Swaby in P14. Michael Thompson in P15. Sebastian Rodriguez in P16. And Raul Partab only made round 1 so far. Sits in P17. So we're about to end practice and head into qualifying. We'll just take a quick look as well at the LMP2 class with Diego De Cineros in P1 with 43, Kadeem Mohammed in P2 with 37, Shakir Aiton in P3 with 33, Casey Chapman missed last week in P4 with 27. Omar makes his debut back, only made it for round 1, got the fastest lap, plus won the race, sits in P5. Daniel Garcia has a wrong flag beside him as well. My apologies. Daniel is of Colombian descent, and right below him is Mikhail Charles, who is a Trinidadian. Made his debut last week. Won last week's race. Sits in P7. Daniel Velez in P8. Irvin Plummer in P9. Camilo Andres Mora in P10. Joel Santamaria in P11. And AJ Martin back here this week sits in P12. So we're right along now with the race leader or race winner from last week. But now we have qualifying session starting with the GT3 class. It's about to go racing, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, the qualifying now begins right along board with Matthew Titus. This is going to get good really quickly. Here at the Fuji Speedway, he's on that 1.4 kilometer straight. He'll be the first driver for this evening to get his laps on the way. And ooh, that's Johnny Wilson. And that looks like blue flags. Johnny came out at the wrong time there at the beginning of Matthew Titus's first lap. And I'm sure it will even be quite upsetting, to say the least, for the driver. Matthew there backs out of it. And that's his first lap on. I'm gonna go down the drain. So we're right along board now with right behind him is Javier Brandao and Kurt Moss. It's a full-on train. Jaden Harrison not very far behind. Sits now with the fastest Sector 1 with a 36.887. It's about 3/10 clear of the driver in front of him in Kurt Moss. Will Jaden, in his return here at the JSRA, bring back some drama? As we head into round 4, you see him there pushing that BMW through and through. Purple Sector 2 as well. 27.465. Almost about 6/10 clear there in Sector 2 alone. Michelle Wallace, we haven't seen him come out as yet. So he's one that we've seen in the past who has dominated qualifying. We wait to see what he can bring in the next few moments. Right now, he's looking like a P2 start for his first lap. Jaden Harrison there sits in the slipstream of Mr. Kurt Moss. So the times are coming in. And a 1:42.414 for the Jamaican driver. And that's a rapid start to this qualifying session. Kurt Moss sits in P2 with a 1:43.275. Vincent Da Silva, though, only 0.3 down the Panamanian in that Lultec GT Panama Huracan. That livery for GT Panama is absolutely stunning. Pau Dineres, we've seen him in the past. In round 1, was taken out in the first corner. That was tears to see. He had a battle on the way. And while we're doing commentary, getting huge shout outs from good friends of ours who are itching to go racing again. So cannot wait to have them back. But Emmanuel, as I've been paying attention to my phone, has put that car back in his debut here in the Le Mans Ultimate Series. He's not new to the JSRA. And we've seen him in the past in the top 3. Always putting up a good fight, has been improving steadily since he's come. Excited to see what he can do here this afternoon. We have about 5 minutes to lap so far in the qualifying session. Let's take a look at what's to come. But right now, Kurt Moss sits in P5. Kyle Barrett there has put the car back right behind the podium with a 1:42.882. We look now for Michelle Wallace, who still hasn't set a lap. This is his out lap. We'll look to see what he can do here. Right now, Pau just crosses the line, and I told you, he started on pole in round 1 at Monza, the curve of the Grand layout. Got taken out at turn 1, unfortunately. We haven't seen him back since, but glad to see him back here in that BMW. Look forward to seeing what can come. But right now, we have 3 countries on the podium. 1 from Jamaica, 1 from Panama, and 1 a Bruneian driver sitting in P3. That can change in a moment's time. Cesar Barahona, who did finish in the podium twice this season, sits now in P4, relegates Mr. Barrett there into P5, and Vincent Da Silva into P6. This is going to be a fun qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen. It goes on and on. We have 15 drivers in the GT3. And I think about 10 to 12 in the LMP2s here this evening. We look forward to what the drivers can bring here. We have about 3 minutes remaining in the GT3 session. Emmanuel has taken pole position with a 1:41.626. That's going to put the Jamaican under pressure, but the Jamaican is looking rapid, and he does go to improve, but not enough. 1:42.414 for the Jamaican driver in that Ferrari 296. But right now, the Bruneian driver sits on the top of the grid, almost 7/10 clear of the field behind him. What a lap that has been for Mr. Rayan. Enjoying that Aston Martin as the times continue to go down. Michelle Wallace finally puts the time down, 1:42.793. And sits in the pits. Is he having an issue with his setup? As he goes out now for his final out lap, 2 minutes remaining. He will have enough time to get 1 out lap and 1 flying lap down. We take a look now at Iman as he comes down the start finish straight and is still improving, ladies and gentlemen. In sector 1, it should be his final lap now. or maybe can have enough if he has enough fuel for one more lap. Jaden Harrison again not too far behind, but wowzers, what a battle of qualifying this has been. Ron Harris has been quick in the past, has 2 podiums to his name in this series. He sits now in P9. Javier Brandao as well, he leads the overall championship standings and he sits in P8, so he wants to get a run further up the field. And should be in his GT Panama livery. Not sure why we're not getting it. But hopefully that will update sooner than later. Foot now. Looking promising, 142.459, a 10th clear up. P3. No, it does not look that way. Sits now in P5. Kurt Moss is the last driver now to cross the line. Well, no, my apologies. We have, yeah, should be the last driver to cross the line. 10. Where will this put him? He sits in P6 now to finalize that qualifying session for himself. Last driver is Nathan Brand there, as you see, pulls to the side now, sits now P13. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's your grid for the GT3s. We start qualifying now for the LMP2s. Kadeem Mohammed has been rapid here for the past few sessions. We look forward to seeing what he can do as he starts his first flying lap now. Right behind him is Mr. Mikhail Charles as well. And we'll just ride along board now with Mr. Mohammed as he begins this run through the field. See in the distance there, the Fuji Mountains. So Mohammed now coming around the last few corners as he heads around turns 14 and 15, now by 16. And it will be starting off this lap. He goes down the pit straight, down by the Panasonic. Right behind him is Mr. Michael Charles. So right now, sitting on provisional pole is Mr. Omar Scorcio. He was a winner from round 1 by a demanding margin. Now only sits clear of 2/10 from the Bayesian driver, 6/10 from the Trinidadian. Will this lend to some really good racing here as we watch now with Mr. Michael Charles sitting there? I believe that's Mr. Scorcio right behind. Looking rapid here as we go to the next few moments. Does bail out there. So let's take a look at the Colombian in Camilo Andres Mora. Made his debut last week. Sits now. He ended up running out of gas in his debut, as a matter of fact. And that was pain for the Colombian driver. Diego Cineros as well. He is rapid. Won the race before last at the not Kota. It was round 2. That was tears as well because Mr. Kadeem Mohammed was chasing down Diego. The GT Panama driver could not catch up. But right now, Kadeem Mohammed and Michael Charles are fighting it out for the top 2. Michael dismantles that time, 134.498 for the Trinidadian driver. Kadeem Mohammed right in front of him. Diego Cineros there, 136.011, just gets a banker lap out. Looking like he's pulling over. Yes, he is. We'll ride along board with Omar as he continues his bout for the top step of the podium. Just right along board though with Mr. Michael Charles because he there is setting a blistering Sector 1. Looking like he's possibly trying to see if he can make a little bit of noise here in his second race of the season. 4 minutes remaining. Purple Sector 1, Purple Sector 2, and by quite a margin there. 33.454 in Sector 1 for Mikhail, 25.631 in Sector 2 for Mikhail. Kadeem was 33.768 and a 25.928. So right now, Mikhail Charles is looking, can he dismantle it? It looks like he can as he crosses the line. And that will put him right there. Kadeem did take provisional pole, but quickly dismantled. Goes for Mr. Michael Charles to take the top step of the podium now. And what a battle this has become. 2/10 clear is Mr. Michael Charles with a 134.064. Will we see a driver in the 33s? Cam Mora does move up as well into P4. And he's not far off either. 6/10 is the gap between himself. 33.557 for Mr. Escorcio. He does improve in Sector 1 for himself. But still, Michael Charles is still about 2/10 quicker. With a 33.363. So Omar, maybe thinking coming back to an easy evening, has now met a very good challenge in front of him. But Purple Sector 2 by 6,000ths of a second. 25.606, 25.561 for Michael Charles. So he also improves as well. Michael Charles looking like he's going to be the first driver. Does buck up a little bit of traffic there though. Yellow flags, gets out of the way. I believe that was Diego de Cineros. Omar now crosses the line. Green Sector 1, Purple Sector 2. But that Purple Sector 2 will be dismantled. Will he improve? Yes, he will. 133.781 for the Colombian. The Trinidadian now to cross the line. Where does this put him? At 33.929. Huge lock up there for him as well. Kadeem Mohammed is in the pits doing his final preparation to his final lap. Should have enough time for one more lap out there. What a battle this has been. Michael Charles there going on for his final lap. Will he have enough time? Omar is not improving. I'm assuming right now he's just trying to use this as his moment. Just prepare those tires, cool it down if he needs. This is going to be a battle to the finish. Ladies and gentlemen, put your bets in. 2 tenths clear, 1.5 tenths clear is Michael Charles. Kadeem Mohammed is in the pits. Has he conceded this qualifying session? So has Michael Charles, and so has Camora. So right now, the battle is on for at least P4. Right now, Daniel Velez is improving sector 2, not looking in particular rapid in sector 1. Just needs 2 tenths to clear the likes of the driver in front of him. 35 seconds remaining. Should have enough time for one more lap. Hopefully enough fuel as well. As he comes across the line, his fastest lap so far was a 1:34.866. He does improve, and that puts him right behind the podium in P4. Daniel Velez with a 1:34.494, 7 tenths off. What a lap it was for him. Raven Plum as well. She is hunting. She is also improving. 33.703 in sector 1, 25.824 in sector 2. Tyrell Aiton as well is in the pits. There you go. Cineros. Raven comes across the line. Was improving. Will it move her in front of the Colombian in front of her? Yes, it does. Goes in P4 for Raven Plummer. We have 2 more drivers out there. Daniel Velez and Diego de Cineros. As he comes around that final blind corner. It's going to be a drag race now. Where will this put him? Will he improve? Has been doing very well all season. Does move him? No, it does not. P9 is his final time. Daniel Velez still seeing if he could have improved. 1:34.451 did improve slightly, but not enough. Raven Plummer is heading to the pits as well. Daniel as well is heading to the pits. This is your qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen. What a battle this has been. We'll go over the starting grid in only a moment's time, but what a battle. Huge congratulations to the drivers here as they bring it home. Heading to the pits now is Mr. Daniel Velez. Ladies and gentlemen, we will get racing in a moment's time. We will see you in a moment.
Hello and welcome to the 2025 JSRA season.
What a race this has been. But there is Dominic Charles now sitting in the slipstream of the Australian, maybe trying to see if he can force a mistake.
Oh, what a move by Moss on the outside of Jaden Harrison.
Olem Kimani as the fans are out and about. John just closing off the gap to the Trinidadian.
3, 2, 1, go. Fast, sharp right. Fast, sharp right. Sharp right. Sharp right. Listen. Sabine.
And ladies and gentlemen, just getting news. In his debut, Mr. Rohir Robinson does join the field at the latter stages of this race, but still, we are excited to have him back here in the Le Mans Ultimate Series. We have the drivers lining up. Best of luck to the drivers. We have about 17 seconds until we go. And it will be a formation lap here. Timani Eastman in the chat. Missing you on track, bro. But that being said, the formation lap has begun. Omar Escorcia leads from Mikhail Charles. We'll go racing in a few moments. Great Plumber there, what is she doing? So we will go racing in a moment's time as we head up to turn 1. GT3 is coming through Panasonic. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a good moment. Like, share, and subscribe if you like what you're seeing. The battling is going to get better and better as we go on. Emmanuel will be leading from the GT3s in his debut here in the Le Mans Ultimate Sprint Series. And we will get green light racing in a moment's time as they pass the pit entry. You should see the pits, the green light, and yes, there it goes. And Omar immediately under threat by Mikhail Charles. Mikhail Charles there looks like he's going for the move now into turn 1. Switches over to the inside line, and that immediately goes defensive. And there's, ooh, a little bit of a lock up there by Raven Plummer. Safety car, safety car, safety car, safety car. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with racing. We did have a safety car for a moment, but we are back here. Kadeem leads from Daniel, from Danitos Garcia. Mikhail Charles sits in P4. Carol Aiton as well, looking to see where he can find his mix in the next few moments. Kurt Musser hunting down the likes of Cesar Barona for the GT3s. Who was that I saw? That was AJ Martin, was it? Not sure what happened there. Saw LMP2 in the background, but right now Kadeem Mohammed leading from Daniel Velez, from Mikhail Charles, who's made up quite a few after losing out. And the battling is going on now. Carroll is only 3/10 behind the likes of Mr. Garcia in front of him. Daniel Garcia as well. Take a look now at the GT3s. After a brilliant qualifying session, Emmanuel now sits all the way back in P19. So he will have some work to do here. As well as Pau Neras. Where is he? He sits in P9. As Pau there looking in the slipstream of Matthew Titus. We said it in the introduction. Pau now is hunting down, hunting. As he heads down now, has the inside line, heads down into turn 1. Heavy on the brakes there, and does look like a move done for himself. Matthew Titus has to concede that one. What a dramatic start to this race. Raven Plummer was the one that we saw there. Spun around. So pain for her. Now has to fight through the GT3 pack. Camilo Mora sits down there in P7. Will have some work to do to try and get some places. Kurt Moss there. He and Cesar had a battle last week. And look there in the background. That is Mr. Michelle Wallace sitting in P3. Started with a very bad qualifying session, but has made his way up and is only a second off of the top split. The top two behind him, Nathan Brown. Ron Harris as well sits in P5. So a lot of the top drivers there have found themselves at the back of the pack. Ramiro Dominguez, there he is. Didn't see him in the qualifying session until late. Rohit Robinson as well there in P12. Two JSRA drivers. And who was that? That was Raven Plummer again. Just not getting a hang of this car. That is pain for her. Emmanuel sits in P15 now. Hunts. Has so much work to do now in the next few stages. Omar Scorsese as well has been started on pole, has the pace. We're looking forward to that battle between him and Mikhail Charles and Kadeem Mohammed. Kadeem and Mikhail there are enjoying this. Will weather come into play as he takes a look on the inside, goes for the move on Carroll, moves up into P4. 6 seconds there. Oh, sorry, 0.8 of a second there between himself and the Colombian in Daniel Velez. Daniel will have to hold out now to try and keep away. From his countryman. We'll have the 1v1 battle on the go. Watching this though, Pau taking a look on the outside of Ajani Wilson in that Mercedes-Benz. The battle of the Germans. Ajani concedes that one. Looks for the switcheroo though, but still not enough pace there. As Pau continues on to see if he can continue. Gets a little bit of a tap. but gets the move. Now sits in P6 in the GT3s. Will he be able to catch 2 seconds behind Nathan Bryan? Nathan Bryan there trying to make the move on Rowan Harris. Rowan, who we've seen so much this season. As I head down now into turn 1. Oh, I think it was Rowan making a move on Nathan. So Nathan now will be relegated back to P5. Pow, seeing the two Jamaicans in front of him, will have an opportunity now to say if he can get another 2 positions in the next few moments and then set his sights on the next Jamaican. We have 4 Jamaicans in front of him. Did call for a Jamaican lockout, but that being said, only time will tell. 3/10 gap between Daniel now and Omar. There's a train behind Omar, all just pulling along, hoping that they can keep along with the Colombian in front of them. Omar has had rapid pace all in race 1 at least. Can he pull something out of the hat here? Can there be some drama, late night drama? And again, a huge shout out to everyone watching. I hope you can enjoy what it is that we have coming on the way. This Power now has put itself right there on the rear end of Mr. Nathan Bryan. Nathan there spun. So just as we got there, that battle quickly subsided. 1.7 seconds is the gap between him and the Jamaican in front. Kurt Moss has made that move on Cesar Barahona. These two did find themselves in a battle last week at Kota. Kurt Moss now sits in P1. Michelle Wallace in P3. Right behind him now is Rowan Harris. Came second in last week's race. Is under threat now for P4. Pau chases him down. Seeing yellow flags there. Hopefully not too much drama in the next few moments. So many battles going on right now because Omar Scorcio sitting down there waiting on his moment to shine. As they head down now the pit straight, sits in that slipstream, takes a look on the inside. Who will be later on the brakes here now? As they head right now into the braking, Omar gets the ID line, gets the inside line, moves up a position. Omar Scorcio now sits in P2 as Mikhail Charles has fallen back. What happened with Mikhail? He sits now in P7, so he will have now some work to do to catch back up. Daniel Velez in the final podium position in P3. Oh my word. 33 minutes remaining, ladies and gentlemen. It's a little bit of a lockup there for the Colombian in Daniel Velez. Right now we sit along board with Iman Rayan, who's chasing down the likes of Jaden Harrison here. Jaden, who has missed the last 2 rounds, is finally back and is now under threat by the Bruneian driver. Will he go defensive? He does. Sees the pace of the Brunei driver. The Brunei driver looks on the inside, sees no space there. It's a drag race now. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Jaden closing out the Bruneian driver in Iman Rayan. And that's going to be a good defensive. But as they go into turn 1 now, Jaden opens up that steering wheel. Iman has to back out. What a battle this is now. Rich Dial getting the greatest show, to say the least, right there as he watches on from behind. Iman Rayan now will be hunting down the Jamaican, and this is going to be the battle to watch. And might as well we get a full view of this battle as it goes on. As Iman there just sitting there in the slipstream of this Ferrari, right in front of him, not giving an inch. We've seen so much growth in this driver. So excited to see him back as he chases down the Jamaican in front of him. We'll watch the effects of the slipstream there. A man there not looking close enough. Still trying to use as much of the slipstream as possible. But nowhere to go there. We'll have to pick his battle a little bit more as that battle continues. Michael Thompson as well, sitting in the slipstream off Mr. Cal Barrett. Continue to watch and monitor that gap, because right now the closest battle is between Jaden Harrison and Emmanuel, Michael Thompson and Vincent Da Silva. Well, this battle has been going on. It's pushed Jaden right there on the back end of Paulineris. These two found themselves in an incident in race 1. How will it land? We have 3 rapid drivers here. 3 podium sitters, as a matter of fact. These 3 started on the podium and now have found themselves right back in. The formation has been a little bit switched up, but still nonetheless, this battle will go on. Man around there hunting. This is going to be the battle to watch. Jaden Harrison there did make the move. And ladies and gentlemen, seeing the wipers on the glass. Are we about to see drizzle? Yes, we are. And there you see Jaden now under threat by the Bruneian driver. And that is a wrong time for the rain to come in for some of these drivers. They've been complaining all week. I kind of felt bad about it. But what kind of drama will that lend to here this evening? Jaden under threat by Emmanuel. My apologies, that wasn't Jaden, that was Pau, who now loses 2 positions to the rain. And this is where it's going to get interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Gaps are going to start to dwindle. Kadeem Mohammed now catching up to the pack. Nobody looking like they need to go into the pits just yet. Pau there, the first to pull the trigger. Maybe looking for an undercut. Diego as well, first driver in LMP2s to go for those wet tires. This is going to be where strategy comes into play, ladies and gentlemen. The man there feels very confident, it seems. Cesar Barahona as well sits in P2. Michelle Wallace in P3. Ron Harris in P4. Jaden Harrison in P5. Pau now is the first driver on the wet tires. Assuming he went to change for the tires, as a matter of fact. gap between Kadim and Amar has started to slowly dwindle. It was 6.4 seconds. Now down to 6 or 5.9. There you go there. I believe is the first of the LMP2s on the wet tires. Was it a little bit too early for him? AJ Martin there. Watching this, Mikhail Charles. Ooh! As we get to the drama, Andres Mora found himself in the back end of Mr. Mikhail Charles. Mikhail now trying to push through the field. And there, makes contact with Shakir. And ooh, this is going to get tricky. Okay, gets off the field very quickly, luckily. Gonna have to wait until that last LMP2 goes on now. Wow, is that scary for a moment there? Rain looking like it's picking up slightly. But is it enough to draw for the pits? We have about 25 minutes remaining. Kurt Monster using his typical braking line, so clearly not feeling the effects too badly yet as he comes up to the rear of Pau Daenerys. Pau, who started on the podium, is on the wet tire. Was it a little bit too soon there to draw for the wet tires, because that Pau's pace has just gone down. The battle between the Brunei driver and Jaden Harrison continues. P4 and P5 continue this battle out. Daniel Velez there has to be patient to get through the field. And such a tricky place to go. The Brunei driver having to just concede that one. Ron Harris there. It's falling back to P6 as he watches the background. So still not wet enough for the wet tires, it seems. With 22 minutes remaining, we just continue to look up at that sky. It is looking cloudy, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan Brand there goes to the move on Ricardo Swaby. As they come out to the final corner, AJ Martin there tries to overtake and get through as quickly as possible. Ricardo Swaby not ready to give up that battle yet though. So right now we'll go back to the LMP2 class because Carroll there has found some pace in this stage of the race. Daniel Garcia not too far either. See, he watches the battle in front with the Cayman driver. Who was that I just saw heading into the pits? That was Mr. Wallace as well as Mr. Massive. So what is the strategy for them now? Rowan Harris as well heads into the pits. Will they go for the wet tire? Do they think it's necessary? Where is Mr. Daenerys? He sits now in P12. He was the first to go on the blue wall tire. Has he used up too much of it? Did the pace drop too far for him? As Kurt Moss and Shen Wallace are looking to leave out sooner than later. Kurt Moss there heading out. Mira Dominguez and Kurt Moss stays on the dry tires, so doesn't think it's necessary to go on to those wet tires. Will this be a strategy play for him in the long run? The next front runners is Jaden. Ooh, seeing a little bit of a slide there for him, man. As you see him there heading in the slipstream of Jaden Harrison. Does he send a dummy? Jaden sends a dummy! Jaden sends a dummy! Sends the man around now into the pits. Jaden continues on. Looked like he was going, but said, no, you can go. And what a strategy call there for Jaden Harrison. Clearly still sees enough pace in those tires. Jaden Harrison, the Lone Ranger now. Cesar and Emmanuel are the two who just entered into the pits. Rich Dye as well as he drives in. Emmanuel, where will this put him? While we've been watching that though, Daniel Velez is also in the pits. Amara Score said the first to leave. Is he on the wet tire? Or did he just go for fuel? He is on the wet tire. So he clearly saw the need. As well as Kadeem Mohammed, who is now sitting in P2. Omar, even after the dramatic start to the race, has now found himself into P2, P1. And the LMP2 grid is holding out quite well, all on the wet tires. Daniel Velez 7/10 off with the driver in front in Danito. My good friend Daniel. Right now, all drivers have in the GT3 at least have switched to the wet tires. Jane Harrison finally heads into the pits. Emmanuel is pushing now. Will this be the undercut that was necessary for him? Jade now just has to sit patiently and wait. The man there sits now in P2 as he will be passing Jaden Harrison in the pits by the look of it. No, we will not. My apologies. Emmanuel should be seeing Jaden Harrison coming out of the pits. Or will Jaden see them as Jaden comes out now right behind Michelle Wallace? And Mr. Ballarona in Cesar. So the undercut has worked for Iman. And that extra lap for Jaden Harrison clearly didn't work in his favor. All drivers are on the same tire. Kurt Mussel's leading by a good margin. Now sits there in P9. What happened with his pit strategy? That is again pain for the Jamaican. Monty Titus as well, and Mr. Ricardo Swaby. A race up until turn 1. Ricardo holds the inside line. Ricardo later on the brakes does get to sit it on the apex, and that looks like a good defense there. Titus will be chasing now. But Jaden Harrison sits in P6. That is pain and suffering for him. Javier Brandao as well sits in the slipstream of Pau Daenerys. Did Pau's tires get used too much when it wasn't necessary? He was the first on the wet tire. Would have burnt it off. I'm guessing it should feel like slicks now. You're seeing it barely getting traction in the back end. You're seeing the spray from that BMW. Javier now looking for his moment. And the rain is intensifying here, ladies and gentlemen. We've had practice 2 times this week for the rain. As you see there, Mr. Jaden Harrison there making the move on Mr. Dyer. Coming out to turn 2, heading down now into turn 3. Jaden late on the brakes. Looked so clean. Funny enough. So he sits now in P5. We'll be hunting down the likes of Ron Harris in front of him. Cam Mora as well. We found now a lot of GT3s and LMP2s. This is where it's going to get very crazy. Ooh, as you seen Cesar there, P3 of the GT3 class with blue flags. Ooh, and Camilo got it back. Oh my word, had a blue flag, a brown pants moment. Didn't lose out too much. As you can see, the driver was fighting for traction there. Seeing the spray from the GT3s. Tries to escape as much of the spray as possible. Coming off the racing line. Goes back in. Carroll there making a move on P2 for the G. Ooh, who was that? Oh, that was Nathan Brown, and that was terrifying. But Nathan Brand, yes, I knew I saw it. Nathan went careening and looks like he took out P2 at the time, Mr. Cesar Barahona. And that is pain and suffering all in one moment. Damage there in that Huracan. Ron Harris now moves up into P3. Cesar, I'm sure, is fuming. That was a blue flag as well. Nathan Bryan there sitting down in P15, P16, P18, as a matter of fact. That is pain, ladies and gentlemen, for the Panamania. But what has happened for Jaden Harrison? Because Matthew Titus has found himself right there, 8 tenths off of Jaden Harrison. This rain has picked up, and it's lent to the drama. Amar Escorza in P1, however, Kadeem Mohammed in P2 and Mikhail Charles in P3 didn't get the fight that we wanted, but these three have made it back up to the front of the pack. Kurt Moss as well has caught up to Pau. And I'm sure we'll be trying to get past as quickly as possible. Pau, though, has had struggles on those tires. Again, ladies and gentlemen, a huge shout out to you and the fans. Yeah, so you give a like, a subscribe, and share with your friends and your family if you like what you see there. Pau struggling with those tires. Kurt Moss moves up another position. Moves up into P7, driver number 823. Pau now will be doing some chasing. Shen Wallace has entered into the pits. Was looking good. And ladies and gentlemen, that puts Mr. Dio in P3. Missed last week. This could be a huge haul of points for him here. But Michelle Wallace now entered the pits. What happened to him there? Is it fuel? Won last week for the GT3 class. What has he done here this evening? Looked good at a point. Can't back up to the podium as well. This rain has led to some drama here in round 4. As we head to Portimao next week, I think we're gonna have a very dry race. in the last 6 minutes now. Andres Mora has caught back up to the pack of Shakir Aiton. 2 tenths to gap between the two. As there's yellow flags going all about. This rain is intense. You don't want to be using the curbs there. Will Mr. Aiton there be able to hold off that fight right behind him? 5 minutes remaining. Ladies and gentlemen, leave your votes for drive of the day. We have one more round after this. Well, we've been watching everybody else. Cal Barrett there has made his bid at another position in front of him in P7. Sees the likes of Pau in front of him. Can he gain that position? Pau though, oh, and that, sir and lady and gentlemen, is the commentator's curse at its best. Cal there just lost traction coming out. Loses a position when he was trying to gain one. Jaden Harrison and Matty Titus make contact as well. This battle looks fun. For us, not for them. I've seen them sliding through the field. Diego as well, about to make a move on AJ Martin. AJ might have to concede that one. Ooh, and that's blue flags right behind as well. I believe that was Kadim Mohammed. Yes, it was. So you can see this battle brewing in front of him. AJ Martin there pulls along. Give the position back. Give the position to Alex Diego. Calber right there as well. Got a good view of all of it. One is the gap between the two. Kyle and Sebastian here. There's a fight into turn one. Porsche versus BMW. Kyle does hold the inside line. How will this bid for the Panamanian and the Jamaican? That outside will become the inside. Kyle does get to hold off a little bit. Will Sebastian send a dive? Not the best place too. No, he will not. Sits there, but there goes Kyle going wide. Sebastian there will have some work to do. So right along board with this fight. But while we've been watching that, Cam Mora chasing the likes of Daniel Velez 3/10 to go around Jayden Harrison there in the GT3. Seeing yellow flags being waved. And let's just take a look at the race leader as he crosses the line. So he is getting white flags now. This will be the last lap of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Omar has looked dominant here this evening. This rain has been dramatic to say the least. Oh! See the back end of Andres there. Behind them, Ramiro Dominguez, Ricardo Suebe, Michael Thompson, a slight train as they come around that final blind corner to start their last lap of the race. I've gotten ahead of myself there a little bit, but yeah. They're there now. What will come from that? Let's just take a look. Where is Amar on the track? As he is coming around at final corner and can finally, for the ending of this race, swerves left, swerves right. Mr. Escorcio back in action, flashes his headlights to cross the line in P1 for the LMP2 class. Next one up behind him was Kadeem Mohammed. Where is Iman Rayan? Still has a ways to go. Kadeem Mohammed passes for P2. A dramatic race here, ladies and gentlemen. Kurt Master as well finishes off in P6. Iman Rayan, we want to watch him as he crosses as well. Kirill Aiton there, finishing P2, is in P3 in the championship standings. A huge haul of points for him here. Comes across the finish in P3. Daniel Velez right behind in P4. Cam Moore in P5. Iman Rayan, we want to see him cross. Looking brilliant here. And Iman Rayan, he started on pole by an absolutely epic margin. Some drama in the start of the race, fell all the way back to last, or back of the field at least. And there you see him crossing the line to win out in pole position. P1, P1. P1, P1, P1 for Iman Rayan. And that looks like it, ladies and gentlemen. What a battle this was for the LMP2s. What a battle it was for the GT3s. A huge work there. And what an epic evening of racing. We will go with the interviews in a moment's time. So please stay tuned. Leave your comments in the race in the chat. We'd love to have you as we conclude this race this evening.
was like 20 seconds clear. Wow.
I'm 48 seconds clear of me in third. Although honestly, Mikhail was much closer to you guys, but he spun twice. So
Oh, yeah, I was wondering what happened there.
yeah, he spun out. He recovered. He was still in P3 up until the last lap, and then he spun out in front of me.
Yo, Karim, how did you lose so much time on the pit stop? What happened?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I overfueled like whoa. I think I had like 15 liters too much. I ended up having like 8 laps left at the end.
Oh, I think that was probably my problem as well. Because I just full up the tank. I didn't.
Yeah, I did the same.
you went full tank?
It was
Yeah.
only 10 laps. I didn't realize until I was in the pit, and I was like, oops.
Yeah, I went like 50 liters on the pits.
Oh, yeah.
I did
And I
60,
went.
I did
I
62.
saved. Yeah, go on.
I was saying I did
yeah.
62 liters, not 50. So I was there for a long time.
Yeah.
Same.
Guys, I'll be right back. I just running outside quickly. I'll be right back.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Instagram when that goes up, followed by the driver of the days from our sides that will be giving shortly. I think Stephen has just joined us. Stephen, can you hear me? Absolutely fantastic, and we finally got things working on our side, although we missed kind of the beginning of the race, first kind of I think about 5-10 minutes of the race, but eventually got it working, and I'm ready for these interviews. I'll see what I can load from the replay, although it probably won't load everything. I'll see, and just what I could see, Stephen, from what I could watch, looked like it was quite an interesting race and lots of action, especially when the rain started coming. Hello, hello.
Up on the safety car where like I thought I'd overtaken people like incorrectly, and then I started slowing down and I just confused the field. So outside of that, I then lost like a bunch of places there. But then yeah, that just kind of made me a little bit angry that I'd made such a bad mistake. I just settled in and I was driving angry for the first like 3/4 of that race.
That I mean, again, it led to some very interesting racing to say the least. But we are live now, so again, just want to bring up to date the audience. Rich's mic has left the chat. However, we have him on a phone call right now, so I hope the audio is clear. But that being said, huge congratulations, Rich. This is your first podium in the series so far. You missed last week, so maybe you could have gotten one. But yeah, again, we just heard your initial thoughts, but your overall thoughts on the race, please. Even finishing in P3.
I love that race. I love that. I love racing in the rain. Like I'm quite new. I only started like in April sim racing, and like I only started racing in the wet like a month ago. And I like really quickly I really like wet racing. I think maybe because I'm Scottish and I grew up in the rain, like I'm more familiar with it maybe. And then yeah, I think I made up a lot of my places by just staying out longer. Like I think it was Jay Harrison, I think, who was leading. He stayed out one lap more, but I was just watching my lap times, and then once it got to like 7 seconds slower than like my regular lap times, that's when I came in, and I think that got me like 4 or 5 places just by staying out a bit longer.
Wow.
And then just keep it on the track.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
I absolutely love that, man. Thanks so much. Like, what a great race. I'm so pumped to have come in third.
It was absolutely epic to watch. Quick question: can you hear us in the voice room?
Sorry.
Because Mark, I think, has a question or two for you coming up. As a matter of fact.
I hope so. Rich, can you hear me?
All right, so I think I'll be asking on behalf of Mark. Mark, what's your question?
All right. Well, hopefully he'll get the question. Yeah, Rich. Well, a good race. I mean, honestly, I couldn't watch too much of it as I was trying to sort out issues and stuff at that time. But I have to say, it was nice to see you up so high. Considering, if I recall, in previous races, it wasn't as much. What were the struggles that you had previously that now you got ironed out this time around at Fuji in Japan?
Okay, so he's asking, what issues did you have in the past few races that you ironed out to now be on the podium as you're at Fuji in Japan?
It's a good question. Like I was really, I came like P10 in round 2, P7. What was the first round? I came P7, and I was Monza, yeah. And like that's the track I know, and I was really happy with P7. Like I'm new, like I've been doing this a few months, and for this race, like I put in quite a lot of time yesterday. Like, and I was trying out different settings and trying all the I raced in the rain for a few hours just to kind of like get a feel for the braking points and everything. And I think I lucked out a bit. You know, I think I was fortunate where other people spun out, and like I was just concentrating on keeping it on track. Like Carol, he's the guy that got me into this. Carol Eiton, he's in the LMPs, and I spoke to him this morning, and he just gave me some advice. And he was just like, stay on track, like stay stable. Let other people like make mistakes, and as long as you just keep it like stable and keep going. And so yeah, I think I concentrated on that, and then I worked out my lap times in the wet and the dry, and yeah, I was just watching my delta when it got like 6-7 seconds outside of my dry delta. I just pushed, and I noticed I was the second last in the pit. So I think just a little bit of staying stable and a little bit of luck on pit stops, and other people, you know, maybe spinning a bit. There was a couple of people chasing me who, like, when I saw them spin out, I was really relieved because maybe I wouldn't have held them off. A bit of luck and a bit of just trying to keep it on the track.
Well, again, racing in the rain does lend to some really good racing, some dramatics in the long run. But it's, as you said, it's just keeping the car on the track and going as long as possible without dying. So, I mean, again, you said you just started sim racing, and I mean, from where I remember you starting to finally having you on the podium, and huge congratulations there.
Thanks,
Mark,
man.
final
Thanks to you, Stephen. Thanks to the JSRA, man. Thanks very much. This is so cool that you guys do this. Like, I really love being in these series. So yeah, thanks, boys. Thanks for sorting all this out.
Man,
all the effort you did to it.
It's epic to have you, just to say the least.
That's right, yeah. Thank you, Rich, and hopefully we get
So
to
Rich
see you out next time as well.
We'll see you next time in the podium.
I'll let you get off the phone, my brother. Thank you very much.
All right, man.
All right,
have a
now
good
you
one.
can't hear me.
Bye, Rich.
Right, so that's Rich Dyer, folks, on the podium today in GT3. How about that? Fantastic finish.
Absolutely, Mark, and that was a very interesting interview. But yeah, glad to have Rich there. It's from his start.
Oh, we made it work.
Yeah, I hope it was good for the audience as well. His first podium an interview. But that being said, that was Rich Dial. Finished P3. We're going to continue with the GT3s now as we bring in Rohan Harris, who finished P2. This is second P2 of the season.
Oh, do we have Rohan? Oh, there he is.
Right there we have driver number 44, who has been showing out since race 1 at especially at Bahrain. Was looking rapid there, race 1 as well. Has 3 podiums now. 2 second place and 1 third place podiums. Rohan, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here.
Well, Rohan, again, huge congratulations, bro. Would love to hear your thoughts on the rain here this evening, as well as the race overall. But again, huge congratulations to you. Didn't have the best qualifying session. That safety car looked like it put you up into about P4, P5, and then you fought your way through. Could you just give us a rundown of the race, as well as that rain intervention?
Yeah, well, I was not expecting a podium after the qualifying. I saw the other guys this time, and I was like, I would stick to the P10. But then with the safety car plus the rain, I was expecting even a 6th place really. But what surprised me was Jaden actually stayed out later. Because I started slipping, which is why I ended up pitting early. I couldn't stay out any longer than they could.
Yeah, Rohan, I mean, that was a great race, I must say. I mean, we've said that before, I suppose. So you think the Lexus was a good choice for this in the rain? I mean, it's your first time in this series, I believe, using it in the rain. How did you manage it compared to the others?
It was a bit hard to turn in a lot of the corners, but I could keep my brake zones a bit consistent. I missed a few, but each braking was good. It's just it really felt like a boat, but it was a lot stable. Not a lot of sliding in the rain. So I still prefer the Lexus.
All right. And is Stephen still here? Do you have any other questions?
No, but just, I mean, heading into the finale next week, I mean, it was originally posed as a rain race. What are your thoughts as we head into the final round at Portimao?
Well, that's one of my favorite tracks, so I'm hoping to do well there. I actually really, from race room, that's where I started racing on that track mainly. So I'm expecting to not win based off of these guys this time, but I'm thinking I can come out on top.
Well, you probably will win in the class if you work really hard, so I could definitely see that. And beware of the elevation changes and some of those funny corners there, because they are quite difficult, I should know, trying to run on that in my own sim racing. So yeah, best of luck with that, Rohan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. And again, brother, huge congratulations since you joined. Excited to have you back. And even seeing the pace that you've had, I even saw you fighting with Jaden earlier on, and you know, it's just been fun to watch. So we look forward to seeing you as we head into the next round.
Yes, thank you again.
All right, thank you. Rohan Harris joining us tonight, P2 in GT3 class. All right, Stephen, who do we got next?
And then making his debut back here at the JSRA. He's not new to the JSRA in the least, but he is new to the Le Mans Ultimate Series. We finally had him back. He started on pole position by a good 3/10. Emmanuel.
Hear him, but he's rather low on my end, Stephen.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, there we are. Can you hear him on your side, Stephen? I can hear him. How much you did as well. Just absolutely amazing.
Doing that.
Absolutely amazing.
during the after I
something, and you had a manager LMP2s coming up on you as well. Something, and you had a manager LMP2s coming up, and you had a manager LMP2s coming up on you as well, which happened.
the wet conditions because
So, Iman, I just have a quick
Go ahead,
question to you now, because there's a moment where it was you, Jaden Harrison, and Paul Daenerys that were fighting right before the rain came, or right after the drizzle started. Jaden looked like he was sitting in a slipstream. It looked almost like it was a dummy that brought you into the pits, but that looked like it was his undoing as well. Any thoughts on that move and that undercut that worked out so beautifully for you in the long run?
I don't get why Jaden was doing that. Really, I don't think it really meant anything to me.
I think Jaden's a sneaky fellow, that's why.
So
Yeah.
so from the commentators booth, I thought it was a dummy, but then I realized that he might have just been trying to use a slipstream. But it threw me off a little bit. Like, did it have the same effect to you, or no?
Nah, it didn't have any effect on me. I think Jaden messed up his race anyway by staying out a lap
Absolutely.
later. Yeah, I undercut. I don't know how I undercutted the leader. Overcut, I think. I don't know how I overcut the leader. I think it was Wallace. Was it the leader?
It was Moss.
Moss.
Yeah, Kurt Moss.
I think he pitted for wets, right? And yeah, he pitted for wets. I think 1 lap or 2 laps earlier than me. And I was just trying my best to stay on track during in the wet conditions while on the dry tires. And I saw Wallace his energy was like 60%. So I also went for 60% energy too, but it almost cost me the win.
Yes, because he ended up having to pit, I'm guessing, for energy at the latter stages, which costed him points.
Yeah.
So your fuel saving definitely worked in the long run, man. But epic race from me, especially. That was fun to watch, especially that battle between you, Jaden, and Paul. And I'm looking forward to seeing it next week as we head out to Portimao.
Thank you. I think I'll get the race in Portimao too next week.
I'm looking forward to that. I think you've rubbed a few persons wrong. So this is going to be an exciting finale. Glad to have you back here at the JSRA, man, and looking forward to seeing you as we head into the next round and the final round.
Thank you.
Mark, any thoughts?
Congratulations. Oh, I just wanted to say congratulations, man, and maybe we'll see this again. This really surprised me today, how you drove. So I'm really happy for you, and good luck next week.
Thanks, Mark.
Awesome having you, brother, and we'll see you again next week, hopefully, in the commentators booth. Congratulations again on P1 in the GT3 class.
Thank you.
Thank you too. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Iman Rayan. Now we'll start with the LMP2 class. We begin with Mr. Carol Eiton. You've seen him as Shakir, good friend of ours here at the JSRA, as well as one of our key sponsors from 7 Mile Racing. And we look forward to hearing him again in the commentators booth, sitting in P3 in the LMP. And look forward to the interview.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, thank you, Stephen. And Carol, what a fantastic race. And once again, battling with everyone. And this time, it was the battle with Daniel Velez that was really interesting. And
Well, also, we have to give Mikhail Charles his props. He was solidly in P3, and if it wasn't for 2 very late race errors, he would have had P3 easily. But he just spun out on the last lap, and I inherited it. As for the battle earlier, it was incredible. I think what really shifted things was when that light rain started in the beginning. the track conditions started to gradually change. You know, when rain comes, I guess it's the great equalizer, and sometimes it's not about pace, it's about patience.
Yeah, very true. I mean, you don't have to be the fastest on the track. You just have to be the most consistent, and that seems to be what you were tonight. So, yeah, it was really nice to see. Because honestly, when I looked at all the battles, everything looked spread out, and then we look at you, and you were pretty much the closest LMP2 battle. Especially when it comes round to turn one, right? You know, the very long straight into turn one, and the technical section as well, past turn 10, 11, and that must have been very tricky. Describe that to us.
Yeah, definitely. Turn one wasn't actually so bad. I mean, the thing with turn one is when it got wet, you just kept moving your brake point forward a little bit, and if you were patient, again, it wasn't horrible. But sector three, I mean, the car was sideways, especially before we got to pit. The car was sideways all the time. The funny thing, though, was when the rain started, it was very light right up until I think lap 14 or 15 when we were going into pit. Right off the bat, everybody was trying to go back to the same line that they were on the mediums, and that's where a lot of people ended up going too deep in turn one.
And indeed, that wet line was very, very different to the dry line. I mean, that's just how it is in racing. Yeah, and I guess the final question is, going on to the next race then, what do you think? Obviously, chance of rain again. Actually, I think Stephen might set it up where it is 100% chance, although he can correct me. And so now they have a little bit of experience. Do you think going into the next race, will there be a chance at something even better, maybe a win?
Portimao is one of my weakest tracks, but I'm going to spend the week practicing and seeing if I can extract a little pace. Again, you know, it's very difficult to think about wins when Omar and Kadeem and Mikhail are just so fast. Those guys are lightning quick. So I think for me, it's still going to be the same strategy. Just try and, you know, drive my own race and capitalize on other people's mistakes where I can.
Sounds good. All right. Well, Carol, thank you. We'll send it over to Stephen if he has any questions.
Carol, I just have one question for you. There was a brown pants moment between yourself, Omar, Mikhail, and Camilo and Res Mora. I don't know if you remember that. It was about 2 laps before Mikhail hit into the back of you and ended up spinning. But I don't know if you remember that moment going through turns 2. There's a blue flag. It looked very close. If you remember it, could you just give us some comments on it?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think, again, I can't be mad at Mikhail and Mora, because whenever you see someone in front of you get held up by GT3s, it's always a great time to attack. So I kind of anticipated it, but with the rain and sliding and the GT3s, we have to get around them. They don't get out of our ways. And it was just one of those situations where I kind of just tried to keep the car from spinning because I knew there was going to be contact. And you know, when you can anticipate the crashes, sometimes you have a little bit of luck in being able to stave it off and minimize the damage. And I think that's what happened there, because I saw it. I knew once I got held up by that GT3 car, I knew they were going to attack, because I would have done the exact same thing, you know?
Absolutely, man. Well, again, huge congrats, P3. That does lend to some very good points to your championship standings. Huge congratulations again, and a huge showing out. We'll see you again next week, hopefully in the commentators booth. But that being said, Carol, again, have a great night and congratulations, brother.
Thank you, and I just want to say to you guys, to Jsra, to all the racers, you know, great job. Stephen, a really big thank you. You know, I don't know if people really appreciate just how much work you put into putting this together. But, you know, it's really appreciated. And I want to also big up my teammate from 7 Mile Racing, Rich Dyer, for his P3 in GT3. Really proud of him. He's new to sim racing and he's been working really hard. Mark, again, too, you know, thank you for all that you do in this space. You know, just thank you guys. Big thanks.
Thank you so much.
Huge thanks to you as well, as one of our lead sponsors here at the Jsra. Did sponsor the CTCC series last season. as well as
And that should be Kadeem Mohammed, Mr. Steven.
absolutely. And Kadeem is in the room now, and I mean he made his Le Mans Ultimate debut here. Went through your mind throughout and through.
Well, the lap I started a good start. Then I just followed Omar. He started pretty bad, so I was in good slipstream of him. So just follow him, and I broke a little earlier because
Well, at the safety car restart, my apologies. You were in P2, was it?
no P1.
P1,
It
right.
was a long straight at Fuji, so I didn't want to just burn a hole in the air for everybody behind me. So I tried to hold it as long as
There, you seem to have a handle on the car. What do
he
you?
was doing that I wasn't doing. Tried to implement it. Go from there. So there's a big hill and then drops down into the sweeping left-hander.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
the right-hander before that, I hate that turn. Like, it's so hard to
I
get
think I
past
know
it.
the one. Yes.
Yeah.
The one you go a little bit too wide and you go off the left, off the track.
Yep.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, I know the one. All right. Well, thank you, Kadeem. Fantastic race again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. And Kadeem, huge shout out again, bro. Looking forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, we'll do.
Absolutely. And that was driver number 246, Mr. Kadeem Mohammed. And we'll finalize the commentary this evening now as the race winner from race 1 and the race winner from race 4. We missed him for 2 rounds, unfortunately, but glad to have him back. Mr. Omar Escorcio, who, wow, what a qualifying lap, first of all, at 1.7 tenths clear. Then found himself at the top of the step of the podium to start the race. Then a dramatic start to the race, pushing him all the way back to, I think he was last place, or somewhere further down. But Omar, can you hear us?
Yeah. Loud and clear.
All right, well, welcome, brother. Mark, I'm gonna let you take over, but Omar, I just want to hear your thoughts on the beginning of the race before the safety car was called. What had happened there? I saw you drop a few positions.
I think people didn't expect the LMP3s to have such cold brakes, so everyone on the LMP3s missed the braking point and went straight onto, I guess, me.
Oh no!
So I ended up on 8th place, and unfortunately the safety car saved me a bit of time. So yeah, I just had to go up positions.
Okay, I have one more question. I didn't notice you head to the pits to fix your damage though. Can you confirm that?
And yeah, I didn't fix damage. I think it would have been a lot of time, and it just would have damaged my race. So I just ended and prayed that the rain would help me with the car.
Well, clearly the damage wasn't too extensive, but would just love to hear your thoughts on that damage before I hand over to Mark. And what did it contribute to the race? I mean, to still finish off in the top step of the podium. But nonetheless, I know it should have still been a little bit challenging. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I knew that it was gonna be a hard race. I didn't have a lot of practice for this race, and I didn't know that it was going to rain, so I didn't exactly know what to do with the setup, or when to pit, or what to do. So I just tried. My strategy this race was just try to go as long as possible, so I fuel safe the whole race, because I knew that the rain was going to start getting a little bit harder towards the end of the race. So I stayed, I think, one or two laps longer than everyone else, and that gave me that advantage because the tires weren't dying as much as they did for the guys that pitted earlier.
Awesome and awesome strategy. Mark?
Yes, so Omar, yeah, fantastic work back through the field, and well, I unfortunately, as I was figuring out my PC, I missed the incident that happened at the beginning that caused the full course yellow. I'll have to go back and look at it later, but yeah, seeing you go back through the field though, when I did eventually come back in to spectate, it was really, really nice to see how quick you were, and you just absolutely dominated. And so you think that you had the best footing despite the damage compared to everybody else in the field. It just seems like you, despite the damage, knew how to get your braking points right, how to follow the correct wet line, as of course the rain came down, and you didn't push anything too far, didn't get yourself into any more trouble. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, on the start, I didn't get a lot of damage, so I wasn't losing a lot of time through the race. But I knew that little bit of time it was going to be a little bit harder for me to race on the rain um, against everyone else. But when I saw that I had I don't know what happened to Karim on the pits, but since when I saw that I have that a lot of time of advantage on him, I just wanted to finish the race. I wasn't pushing at all. I was braking at like 50%, so I didn't lock up the brakes and spawn out or to crash another GT3 or whatever. So I just brought the car home and finished the race.
I did notice you relinquished a bit of time before the very end. I think it was on the final lap or two, and so you were just ahead by so much of P2, and obviously you might have known about what happened with Michael Charles. But yeah, did you go slow on purpose just to make sure you made it home safely?
Yeah, it's my first time driving LMP2s on the range, so I was just trying things like maybe brake a little bit later or earlier, or just push a little bit more. So I was learning through that phase of the race. So I was just testing the waters with the cars of in case it happened on another race in the future. So yeah, you was trying learning.
All right. Well, you learn very quickly, it seems. So that's fantastic. And best of luck to you out in Portugal next week. Then sounds like for some people it's a good track for them, and others not so much. Do you think you will have good luck out there?
Yeah, I think maybe good luck. I don't know. I always have something happening to me on races, and knowing Portimao, I know that's a race where a lot of incident happens because they have a lot of overtaking opportunities, so you can overtake on a lot of corners. So it's gonna be a really hard race since it's a very technical track, and it's very hard and it's very easy to lose the car. So I'm looking forward to race on Portimao.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much, Omar. Have a fantastic rest of your night, and we'll see you out there in Portugal. I'll hand it back over to Stephen.
Omar, again, just huge congratulations, bro. Glad to have you back. Just one final question. Race 1, I think you had cleared the field by about 6 or 7 tenths. Race 2, well, this second race now, you've cleared P2 by I think 3 tenths and P3 by about 4. Have you seen any new competitor that you have to eye, especially as you head into the finale round at Portugal next week?
Yeah, I think I don't know if Karim raced on Monza. It's the only race
He didn't.
beside this one that I raced on, and he seemed like a very fast driver. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I am looking forward to that battle. We missed out on it because of the drama in the first lap, but looking forward to seeing what can happen next week at Portimao, as we head off to Algarve to do the season finale. But again, man, huge congratulations, and looking forward to seeing what will come next week as we close out the series.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to this race, the next race, and the next races that we do on this league because it's very fun.
Absolutely, and I am looking forward to more because we are preparing for the endurance series. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what we can do in the future together, brother. But congratulations and a huge shout out as always. Congrats on P1.
Thank you so much. Good night to you all.
Have a great night.
Have a great night. And Mark, that does bring the interviews to a conclusion. Any final thoughts?
Oh, well, goodness, Stephen, it looks like this race was quite a doozy, and it's unfortunate I missed the beginning. I'm really going to have to go back and watch it back, because I feel like I'm just missing a whole chunk of the race, a whole bunch of context that really has to be filled in. I did get most of it, but you know, the bits that seemed to be the most dramatic happened at the beginning, so oh well, it is what it is, right? PC issues. But I'm looking forward to Portugal, Stephen, because that is going to be a fantastic circuit, and I should know a little bit of LMU practice because I've done a couple of dailies in the LMP2 at Portimao, and I can tell you I'm not very quick whatsoever, but it is tricky, you know. There's a lot of hills, like you come out to turn, was it 2 or 3, and you have this left-hander and you're going up the hill, you have to kind of go right and then back left, and you have a couple of straights, and like who was it mentioned earlier, you know, you have that funny right-hander that then goes down a hill. That's right, it was a Kadeem Mohammed maybe. So it's funny little corners like that. You have to get your braking and your traction correct, and I think some people will struggle and we will see some spins, and especially if it's going to be in the wet, that's going to be even harder for people to do. So whoever you saw doing well in the wet today, Stephen, I reckon they'll have a good chance again next week out in Portimao.
I will address that quickly. I think I'm going to do a driver vote, and we might not do Portimao as a wet race, but we will keep you guys updated throughout the week, and we'll announce it on race day. But the drivers will know what to expect. We want to have a straight shootout for that final round, but it will be all decided by the drivers themselves. The rain here this evening did lend to some real dramatics. The two who started on pole ended up all the way in last position in their individual classes and still found themselves right there back on the top steps. So definitely, Mark, looking forward to seeing what these drivers can do in the next round, in the finale next week. But yeah, as you said, it's been an epic evening of racing, and a huge shout out to you, who will be, well, I don't know if you want to make that announcement for that, or if you want to wait, that's up to you.
Well, I could. I have already said something over in my Discord about what's happening tomorrow, and so if you're okay with that, I'll make the announcement.
Absolutely, please.
Absolutely. All right. Well, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, in fact, in about actually less than 12 hours from now, I think, it's going to be a 24 hours race at the Nürburgring, hosted by Jsra's AC Friends. They're friends of AC Friends, that is. And so if you head over to the I don't know if I'm allowed to invite them over to the official 24 hours of Nürburgring Discord server they have for that. You can go there and you can watch the proceedings that are happening tomorrow. Will be morning my time, afternoon over in Europe, and so I will be doing some commentating for that. I'll be one of the co-commentators. I think one of something like 4 commentators doing the 24 hours Nürburgring, and so if you'd like to go and listen to that, you can go to the AC Friends YouTube page, and you can watch that there as well. And so cheer us on, cheer on the drivers, because it's going to be something like, I wrote it down on my notepad, but it was some ridiculous amount of teams, something like 55, and 250 drivers. So absolute insane amounts. And so come on out and watch a fantastic 24 hours race on Assetto Corsa. It should be a lot of fun, Stephen.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Mark, and good luck to you and to all of the drivers. I want to just do a quick shout out to all who have stayed with us up until the ending of this stream, both at Mark45 and at the JSRA's YouTube. We always look to give you the best showcase, so please, if you have any feedback, leave it on our Instagram at JSRA Official, as well as, well, yeah, mainly just there. So guys, we thank you for spending your Friday evening with us. We huge thanks to the drivers, and huge shout out to Mark and his Twitch stream as we close out.
By the way, who's the driver of the day, Stephen?
Right now it's between Iman and Omar for me. Iman did have a lot more drivers to fight through, so it does go towards him for me. Especially that battle between himself, Pau, Daenerys, and Jaden Harrison. That was a battle to watch. I think that was my favorite battle, as a matter of fact. You can see that highlight coming up on our Instagram in a few hours, as a matter of fact. So please, if you have any thoughts, please leave it in the comments on the YouTube stream, on the YouTube channel, or even in post-race after the post-stream. Just leave a comment and like and subscribe and share. But yeah, all right. Emmanuel, definitely my driver of the day here this evening for the GT3s overall as well. Omar Scorsese obviously is the one for the LMP2s, but after the battle, after what Iman did, man, I just have all shout outs to him here. So glad to have them back and looking forward to the final round next week.
Yeah, I'll probably go with him and Ryan for the GT3s as well, absolutely. And then for the LMP2, a little bit more mixed. I mean, there was the mention of Mikhail Charles there, who, by the way, was looking at P3 right up until, I believe they said the final lap, and Carroll took it away. Again, I missed the beginning of the race, so it's not really a fully, inclined pick here. But I guess we will go with Kadeem Mohammed. I'd say he was pretty good today for sure. Just to kind of spice things up. It could have been Omar as well, but I think Kadeem Mohammed did very, very well also, and he's very consistent.
A competitor as well was Karel, because yeah, he was off pace, but he found himself in a lot of battles, and it was some good fun battles. So he could be a close second and a good fight for the top set. But yeah, I concede. But definitely my driver of the day overall does go to Mr. Emmanuel, and huge shout out to him, man. What a battle.
Sure. Absolutely.
So
congrats, Iman.
That was absolutely epic to watch, and I know you have to go and get some rest, so this will bring this race to a conclusion, this stream to a conclusion. I've been your host, Stephen Stewart, and this has been Mark Ryu. We look forward to seeing you next week at Portimao, Portugal, for the finale of the Sprint Series. And that's not the finale of the JSRA, but just for this series in particular. We'll pay out the championship and give out our prizes to the top 4 and top 3, and we look forward to the future of this series. It's lending to some really good racing. Mark, it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as always, Stephen. Thanks so much.